find slope of a line, we will use this formula right up here, which is subtract the y's and x's. It doesn't matter which one you take first as long as you go in the same order. So if I want to find my slope of this, I'm going to take 0, I'm going to minus it from the 5. And I'm going to take my negative 2 because I'm going in the same order, I'm going to minus a 1. When I do the math, I get negative 5 over a negative 3. The two negatives cancel, so my slope ends up being 5 over 3. So let's look at this problem right here. Do the same thing. I'm going to take my y's, which is 4, and I'm going to subtract. And here's where everyone makes a mistake. That's a negative 3, so I'm going to subtract a negative 3. And then I'm going to put my negative 3 for my x, subtract 2. Notice the double negative becomes positive, so my slope becomes 4 plus 3, which is 7. Negative 3 minus 2 is actually a negative 5. Now, it doesn't matter where the negative sign goes. You could have it on the bottom, you can have it on top, or you can have it right next to it. Either way is the same exact answer, so all of these are the same and correct. So here's how it's worded oftentimes. Find the slope of a line passing through these 2 points. So I'm going to use my slope formula. So I'm going to go 4 minus a negative 3, and then I'm going to go my negative 2 minus a negative 2. Notice I always include the negative, even though I'm subtracting. This becomes positive, so that's 7. This becomes 0. This is undefined. You cannot have 0 in the denominator, so this can't happen. So this is called no slope. Undefined. This type of problem is when you have 2 points, but they give you the slope. We're going to use our formula, but instead of using m, I'm going to replace the m with the 1/3, which then gives me my y's. I'm going to go 4 minus, in this case it happens to be an r, over 1 minus a negative 5. Now, if you remember what I said earlier, this is a proportion, so I can cross multiply. So 3 times 4 minus r equals 1 times, and this is 1 plus 5, which is 6. So it's 1 times 6, which is just 6. So let me do this part right over here. 1 times, and that's 1 plus 5, which is 6, and 6 times 1 equals 6. Now if I distribute, 12 minus 3r equals 6, I can solve the equation. This is 2-step, minus 12 minus 12. I get a negative 3r equals negative 6 divided by negative 3. R equals a 2. So I figured out the coordinate 2 in this particular problem. And all I did was use the formula and the proportions, 2 things we've used.